Look, I have had these contract situations weighing on my mind all week as we stare down the start of training camp. The Carolina Panthers have officially reached a critical crossroads where several key players, including Bryce Young, Mike Jackson, Rasheed Walker, and Damian Lewis, are all fighting to prove they deserve long-term extensions. These negotiations define our future and determine whether this front office is actually building a contender or just spinning its wheels. And honestly, the more details come out, the harder it is to ignore what is going on behind the scenes. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city in the comments below. Let us get into it. The Carolina Panthers are entering a critical stretch as Dave Canales works to shape the roster for the future. And the upcoming training camp will serve as the primary proving ground for several extension candidates. We are watching a front office that understands the work is never finished. And for those of us who have followed this team for years, these contract decisions are the lifeblood of long-term success. While Bryce Young's future is the most significant narrative, players like Mike Jackson, Rasheed Walker, and Damian Lewis are all under the microscope as they aim to secure their place in Charlotte. Mike Jackson has been a genuine revelation following a career year, though the arrival of Will Lee through the draft creates some internal pressure on his status. Meanwhile, Damian Lewis continues to be a reliable stalwart on the offensive line, and the prospect of locking him in for a 2-year, $30 million deal feels like a logical move for a front office prioritizing stability. And that changes everything regarding how we view the salary cap heading into the fall. Fans are feeling a mix of cautious optimism and nervous anticipation because we have seen promising talent walk away due to unresolved financial planning. The emotional weight here is heavy as we desperately want to see this team reward those who have stepped up, yet we fear the consequences of overpaying in a league that demands fiscal discipline. With these names circulating, the conversation shifts naturally toward the man at the center of the organization. If the front office is truly committed to these extensions, how does the vision for Bryce Young's specific contract projection influence the flexibility they have to retain the veteran blockers and defenders currently fighting for their careers during these next few weeks of practice? The most startling reality for our organization right now is that Damian Lewis is officially extension eligible, presenting a pivotal test for how Dave Canales and David Tepper value the foundation of our offensive line. We have seen this cycle before where a stalwart blocker enters a contract year, forcing the front office to decide between long-term stability and the pursuit of new talent. Lewis has been a consistent anchor on that left side, and losing him would leave a significant void that is difficult to fill through the draft or free agency. The organization is likely weighing the cost of a 2-year, $30 million deal against the risk of thinning out the trenches during a critical developmental window for our roster. And honestly, the team must prioritize keeping our veterans who truly understand our scheme. Looking back at past seasons, Carolina has struggled with inconsistent line play, often cycling through various combinations that never quite found a rhythm. Now, with a stable coaching staff led by Dave Canales, there is a clear incentive to reward players who have proven they can perform at a high level without constant turnover. This approach reflects a shift toward building a sustainable identity rather than chasing quick fixes in the open market. While management also monitors the futures of Bryce Young, Mike Jackson, and Rasheed Walker, the focus on Lewis signals a desire to maintain continuity for whoever is lining up behind center. The pressure is mounting as training camp approaches, and every snap from here on out carries financial weight for these athletes. If the front office plays this right, we can lock down the interior of the line and create the necessary environment for our younger stars to thrive in the coming years. Balancing these big money decisions is the ultimate challenge for any general manager trying to construct a legitimate contender in this league. The front office is currently staring down a pivotal crossroads that will define the franchise trajectory for years to come. Managing these contract extensions is not just standard maintenance. It is a delicate balancing act that directly dictates our fiscal flexibility and the quality of talent we can keep on the field. As Carolina Panthers fans, we understand that these decisions shift the entire landscape of our roster depth, particularly as we weigh the future of players like Mike Jackson against the emergence of younger draft picks like Will Lee. What makes this even bigger is the massive shadow of Bryce Young and his impending contract status. If he demonstrates real growth this season, we are looking at a deal in the neighborhood of $170 million, which will fundamentally dictate our ability to sign other key contributors like Rasheed Walker or Damian Lewis. These financial commitments serve as the foundation for our upcoming schedule, where securing the trenches with stalwarts like Lewis is essential for surviving tough divisional battles. Every dollar allocated today limits our wiggle room for mid-season adjustments, meaning each snap these players take during training camp becomes a critical audit of their market value. If we lock down our core veterans, we stabilize the secondary and the offensive front, giving ourselves a much stronger standing against our rivals in the NFC South. Our playoff aspirations depend on this internal consistency. We cannot afford to let high-impact performers walk simply because we mismanaged the cap early in the year. By making the right calls now, we ensure that Dave Canales has the necessary veteran leadership to compete for a postseason spot when the winter months arrive. We are at a moment where smart business off the field is the only way to generate real winning momentum on the turf this season. As Carolina Panthers fans, we understand that managing the salary cap is the lifeblood of building a perennial contender, and the current contract situation is truly front and center. The strongest argument for securing cornerstone pieces like Damian Lewis and potentially Rasheed Walker is the consistency they bring to an offensive line that has often struggled to find its rhythm. Keeping Lewis on a 2-year, $30 million deal ensures we retain a proven stalwart, while locking in Walker for 3 years at $42 million could solidify our tackle rotation. However, the downside is equally clear because committing significant capital to aging or unproven veterans can quickly cripple our financial flexibility for future offseasons. Let's be real, the front office faces a difficult balancing act between rewarding performance and avoiding long-term liabilities. Analysts are already debating how these potential deals impact our future, specifically regarding the high-stakes negotiations looming for Bryce Young. While some suggest a $170 million deal for Young if he thrives, others advocate for a more cautious $90 million bridge contract if his growth remains stagnant. I have to say, the hype surrounding a massive extension for Mike Jackson feels slightly overblown considering the arrival of Will Lee and Jackson's relatively short track record of success. My honest take here is that the team must prioritize the long-term health of our cap over sentimentality. While it is always comforting to keep our own guys in the building, we should avoid overpaying for middle-tier talent just to maintain the status quo. If we are going to climb back into contention under Dave Canales, we need to be ruthless and calculated with our checkbook, ensuring that every dollar spent contributes directly to a championship-caliber roster rather than just filling holes on the depth chart. Managing the salary cap is the quiet heart of professional football. And for the Carolina Panthers, these upcoming contract decisions under the leadership of Dave Canales signal a definitive shift toward long-term stability. While we wait for training camp to begin next week, it is clear that ownership is looking to secure a core group that can grow together, rather than relying on constant roster turnover. And I'll be straight with you. The future of this franchise hinges on whether these specific players, including Bryce Young, Rasheed Walker, Mike Jackson, and Damian Lewis, can prove their worth in the current system. As Carolina Panthers fans, we should feel optimistic but measured heading into this season. The front office is finally showing a proactive approach by evaluating extensions now, which prevents the stress of last-minute negotiations and allows us to focus entirely on the gridiron performance. It is a relief to see a plan in place that rewards consistent play from stalwarts like Lewis while keeping a close eye on the development of younger contributors. This is the mark of a maturing organization that understands the value of continuity in a league where winning is incredibly difficult. Having these financial pillars established allows the coaching staff to build a consistent identity, which is exactly what we have been missing lately. With training camp rapidly approaching, we have a clear look at where the priorities lie. Looking at this list of potential extensions, which of these 4 players do you believe is the most critical for the Panthers to lock down before the regular season begins? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Keep pounding. I'll see you in the next one.